Welcome to an episode of Stuff I Make with Grand Inquisitor Chris. If you like what you see in the video, be sure and hit like, share, and subscribe. And if you feel like supporting the channel economically, there are links in the description. Basically, I'm not going to show you how to build something today as much as give you maybe another idea of something that you can do on recycling, as far as just junk that you normally would throw away. So I had a whole bunch of World War II vehicles that I bought, different companies that I use for playing Dust Tactics. It's a Weird War II game, and I like having a lot of the mundane vehicles in it because I think if you have too much sci-fi in a Weird War II game, it takes away from the real cool feeling of it being Weird War II and just turns it into Warhammer 40k. So I really like Dust Tactics, and I like to have a lot of the ordinary tanks and scout cars and stuff like that. So I bought a bunch of them, and they came on these display bases, and the display bases are screwed to the tanks and scout cars and stuff. Most of them came off okay, but some of the manufacturers used security screws that have like triangle heads and little weird squares and other stuff. So I ended up having to actually physically cut those bases apart to get the vehicles off of them. And the problem was that it really wasn't a pretty thing. I didn't so much cut as melt. I took a wood burner and melted through the plastic, because I have a wood burner that I can put an X-Acto blade into, and melted through the plastic to get them off. But then I had a whole bunch of these chunks of bases. So what I did was, and you can do this with a rotozip or a little hand hobby saw or a Dremel or whatever, but I have a benchtop band saw for my Ryobi that I was able to just zip these out on. So I cut off the crooked edge that had all the melting and everything on it and just cut them all to a pretty much uniform size. And now I have little barricades. And because of the plastic these are made out of is really good for gluing with the solvent cement that I use, I can make these into junky barricades for something like a Necromunda style game setting, turn them into sci-fi barricades, whatever I want. But I just thought I would show you this, because otherwise this is something most people would probably throw away. But you can make barricades out of them, and this stack here was just, I want to say maybe 4 of the bases. And I ended up with a ton of these barricades, so I may end up, if I see that I have too many of them, I may just put some of these in my shop, fix them up as sci-fi barricades or something, and put them in my Etsy shop. If you want to see the Etsy shop, the link is in the description. The other thing that I wanted to show you on this is my roommate had a flat screen TV that crapped out on her, and she was going to throw it away. She knows that I go through and take apart a lot of things to see what I can use for the gaming supplies and building supplies and stuff out of them. So she gave me the TV, and I took it apart, and there's a remarkably small amount of electronics in a flat screen TV. I was actually shocked. I was expecting there to be more. The screen itself is solid. There's a metal shell behind it with a plastic film, but the actual electronics was just ridiculously small. I think it was like 1 or 2 circuit boards and some wire. But there was a lot of plastic in it. So this pile here is the plastic frame from around the front of the screen. I've got some of the other plastic panels and stuff that came out of it in some of my other boxes, but I went ahead and cut these down just to get them out of the way because it was so long. But now if I go ahead and put these onto a base, I can make little sci-fi walls, barricades, pillars, whatever I want. If I wanted to do like a bridge or something, I could just glue a couple of these together that are actually the same size. Yeah, there we go. Glue a couple of these together, and then I have a support for a bridge or something. But it's just an idea of something you can do to recycle the stuff that you get from household electronics that normally you just throw away. And I know there's a lot of times when I'm driving around, I live in an area with a lot of apartment complexes, especially around the beginning and end of the month when people are either moving out or getting kicked out. I see a lot of flat screen TVs in the neighborhood just sitting in dumpsters. So just a thought, guys. Catch you later. Bye.